the fact that the report has been disclosed is a good thing by itself, because this information had been withheld by the Trump administration. Administration had covered up the role of the Crown Prince in the murder. But as I said, this is not enough. The Crown Prince needs to face accountability. He needs to face sanctions, asset freezes, travel bans, and to let him go unpunished would be unconscionable, especially now that this report has been released. Yes, so the Open Society Justice Initiative is calling on the United States and other governments to do two principal things in the short term, which is impose travel and financial sanctions on the Crown Prince, and two, suspend all arms sales to Saudi Arabia until such time as it has stopped engaging in these kinds of human rights violations. It is also calling for the disclosure of more information about the murder, including the CIA report on the murder, and other records that have been withheld from us in the litigation. Numerous other governments probably also have information about the murder and the details of who was responsible and the actions that resulted in this heinous crime occurring. We also want longer-term accountability for the murder, and the Crown Prince should ideally face criminal sanctions, should face a criminal prosecution in Saudi Arabia. And if that doesn't happen, then universal jurisdiction laws in other countries should seek to investigate him and hold him criminally accountable for the murder that he perpetrated. Well, I think that there needs to be, the business community needs to step up and also recognize that there are costs to it in doing business with a rogue regime like that of the Crown Prince. There need to be real consequences for the Crown Prince in particular. He needs to experience a real personal cost from murdering Jamal Khashoggi.
I think it may be that the Biden administration is still finding its legs and figuring out how it wants to handle the U.S. circumstances in the Gulf, the Middle East, and how they want to deal with Saudi Arabia, and that the timing here is not, it was an opportunity to announce that along with this report, but that they're sort of not ready to reassess things. At least I hope that's what's going on. Well, I think the Biden administration has made this decision about Yemen, which is important. I think that there'll be greater distance and that there's not going to be a lot of love lost between the Saudis and the Biden administration. And the Biden administration, I think, will ultimately manage, to re-enter the Iran deal, which the Saudis object to, which will make the relations even worse. I don't think, however, that the Biden administration will go as far as I'd like them to and pull troops out of Saudi Arabia or make a kind of explicit statement that we have other countries we're busy defending and you guys are on your own. I think it's a moral stain on the United States. And, you can't measure that in dollars, but being so closely associated with, a regime that has a terrible track record in dealing with its own dissidents, even before this gruesome murder of Khashoggi, dealing, a regime that, has been bombing civilians in Yemen without sufficient discretion. It's makes us look bad. And it's, besides how it makes us look, it is bad. It's a bad thing in and of itself. So, I think in international relations, one puts up with things like that when you have to, when it's achieving some necessary security end. You have a trade-off and you say, well, work with people who are a little bit less than great. We do a deal with the devil, but when we don't have a clear security rationale for it, as I don't think we do, then why? Why should we harm ourselves morally that way? I don't see a good reason for it. One of the big justifications for the close U.S. relationship with Saudi Arabia is that we have to balance or contain Iran, and I don't think that's true. I think the Iranians they cause some problems in the regions through the checks they write and through some of their foreign policies, but they're not a strong power. They're sort of a middle tier power in terms of their economy and their military, and the local powers, including the Saudis, I think are plenty capable without much help of the United States of containing Iran. Iran also hasn't shown any desire for territorial aggrandizement since its revolution. So I think there's a lot of exaggeration of the Iranian threat, and it's not a good justification for the close U.S. relationship with Saudi Arabia.